Today we will be ranking the top 5 worst weapons to use in Call of Duty Cold War Zombies. Now this could be for Die Maschine, Firebase Z, and Outbreak. Since there are multiple game modes now for zombies, I feel like some people might be curious, what are the worst weapons? A few months ago, back in like December, I made a list of the top 5 best weapons in Cold War Zombies, and I feel like that list still holds up in some ways. And I did mention that I will make a top 5 worst ones, and now we're in 1st of March and I still haven't done it, but today is the day. Do bear in mind this list will not be perfect. You might disagree with it. Actually, most likely you will disagree with most of these weapons, but I will be ranking them from 5 being to 1 being horrendous. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. We are so close to 14,000 subscribers and even closer to 15,000, so thank you all so much. And be sure to drop a like on the video. Can we hit another 50 likes? Would that be possible? You've all been actually slamming that like button and just making my day every single time I see that. Thank you all so much, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So in the number 5 spot is actually a new weapon that came with season 2, and that is the machete. Now yes, you might be surprised a melee weapon has made it to the worst weapons, and the reason it's here is because of its speed. Now personally, if I want to go in, yes, I want to use an overpowered weapon, which the melees are, but I do not want to use an overpowered weapon that takes me extremely long to use it. As you've seen in the past, there are some weapons that are in Cold War Zombies that do suck because of their speed, and nobody wants to be stuck reloading or just using it extremely slowly. So I decided that I'll put the machete on the number 5 spot. Now I did make this list a few days ago and I was going to put the actual sledgehammer on it, but considering this machete is extremely slow and my experience of going for Dark Ether with it has been kind of painful, it does take the number 5 spot. Coming in the number 4 spot is actually the FFAR. Now this assault rifle isn't the worst gun out there, but what sucks about it is the fact that it goes through the bullets extremely fast and it's not overly good for long distances, especially now with Outbreak. You do have zombies at further ranges and trying to kill them with this gun will not be very easy unless it's high in its rarity. I do not recommend using this weapon all the time unless you want to finish your Dark Ether camo challenge grind. You do not have to use this weapon. Thankfully, you do have 2 more options, the Groza or the new Farah 83 that does pack a kick to it. And also the bad thing about the FFAR is the fact that it doesn't have a lot of ammunition, which you can change with the attachments, of course, like with every single weapon, but it's just still not a weapon that I want to hop into zombies with unless I want to go for a specific challenge with it, which thankfully I don't have to anymore. Now coming in the number 3 spot is actually a weapon I would have most likely put on the number 2 or even number 1 spot of the worst weapons back a few weeks ago. Thankfully, Treyarch has actually fixed it, but it's still not overly great. It is the Street Sweeper shotgun. If you do not know what this gun is, it's basically a drum shotgun. It has an insane fire rate and it can be fun to use in multiplayer since it can pick up huge feeds in hardcore, but unfortunately if you use this in zombies and especially before you pack a punch it or buy speed cola, this will be a painful experience. Now yes, Treyarch did fix it where it isn't as bad as it was in the past, and I'm not basing the version of the gun that we have now to the previous one. I'm only judging the one that is currently in the game, the fixed one, but it's still not great and I would not recommend for you to use it. Thankfully, again with the Dark Ether camo challenges, if any time you are going to be using these guns is most likely for that camo, you do not have to use it since you do have the Gallo and the Howler, which are both amazing shotguns in the game, pack-a-punched and unpack-a-punched, and it's just one that you don't have to use. I do know that there are lovers of this shotgun in the game, but for example with the new game mode Outbreak, this will not be a great choice, and in general shotguns aren't good for that game mode. I do recommend the Howler, but the Street Sweeper is just not one that I'll recommend in any time, and it has to take the number 3 spot. On to number 2 is actually going to be the Type 63. Please tell me if you know anyone that decides to spawn in with this weapon. I even forgot that it existed. I decided to hop into a game to see how it is, to judge it and see if I can put it on this list anywhere. And from my experience, I did not enjoy using this weapon, and it is mainly for the fact that it is a 1 tap, and you have to have a good trigger finger, which I do. I won't judge and I won't also flex on anyone, but also if you're a controller player, you will not have a good experience with this. Yes, on mouse and keyboard it isn't the worst, but the fact that this weapon doesn't deal that much damage is just not fun. Yes, you can abuse the aim in and aim out exploit, which is basically when you keep spamming with Deadshot Daiquiri and aim assist on controller to be aiming at the critical shots of zombies, but the fact that this weapon does actually over time become very bad and one that you will not have a great experience with just makes it really bad, and I had to put it on the number 2 spot. It was very close between the Street Sweeper and this, but I feel like the Street Sweeper could be definitely better, and especially if you Pack-a-Punch the Street Sweeper. Now if you Pack-a-Punch the Type 63, it does also become a good weapon, so do not worry, but it's just one that I definitely don't recommend, and it has to take this number 2 spot. And now onto number 1. See, the thing with this is I couldn't put one weapon onto number 1 because there's 3 weapons that are terrible in zombies. Even with the newest upgrades that we have to the skills, to the weapon classes, this weapon, or sorry, these weapons still suck, and that is the sniper rifles. Yes, the Pellington 703, LW3 Tundra, and the M82 are horrendous sniper rifles. There are many reasons why they are bad. Number 1 is most likely their ADS is like a slug. It's just so slow and it's so difficult to aim in most of the time, but it's also the damage occasionally that becomes really annoying with it. Now if you look back at games like Black Ops 3, especially with zombies, in my opinion the best or one of the best weapons in that game mode is the Drakon sniper rifle. But now if you look at, let's say, the M82, which is its closest comparison for now, is overly the worst weapon in the game. And yes, I know I could have put in number 1, but I feel like there will be plenty of people arguing that, oh, the Pellington is much worse or the LW Thunder is much worse, so I just decided to put them on the same level. They're all 3 of the worst weapons in the game. You will most likely have fun with them at the beginning, but if you kind of get used to them over time, you will have a painful experience and will just not be rewarding to use them at all in any game, and that is why they are on the number 1 spot. I do not like the sniper rifles. I do not plan to hop into the game with the sniper rifles unless it's for a video or for any other means. But that's it for the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that you agreed with me for at least some of these places. Now I feel like most of you didn't experience, let's say, the machete yet because it is a brand new weapon and you do need to complete a challenge in multiplayer itself. So I do feel like some of these weapons maybe not everybody has experienced yet, but I wanted to take Outbreak and the base maps like Die Maschine and Firebase Z that are currently out into this list. If you have your own top 5 of the worst weapons, be sure to comment down below and drop a like on the video. That would be very much appreciated. Subscribe as well, as I've mentioned before. But without further ado guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.